Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In today's Walking Dead video, I'm discussing the top 10 hardest choices in Telltale's The Walking Dead, ranging from Season 1 all the way to the final season. This is an update to my original video. If you guys want to go check that out, it'll be linked in the card in the top right in the description down below. That was a top 5 I made in October of 2017. So now we're including stuff with the final season, since that was before the final season came out. I just want to state I'm not going to be including any choices from The Walking Dead 400 Days DLC or The Walking Dead Michonne, as I feel none of those choices really can match up in this list. So what I define as hardest choices are choices that make you pause the game, that make you think, that aren't just obvious. But again, people have their preferences towards characters, ideas, and other stuff. These are just, again, my opinions and my thoughts. So you guys are entitled to your own opinions. And this list is not based on the outcome of the decisions. I know that could change, and that's why some of you people might think some of these might be bad. But again, I'm not basing this top 10 list on the outcome of the choices. Just want to state that. If we hit 2,000 likes by Wednesday, I will post 2 Walking Dead videos, top 10 lists this week. One probably being in the middle of the week, the next one being in the weekend. So 2 this week. We had 2,000 likes at some point during the week. So I challenge y'all. Thank you again for watching, and these are my top 10 hardest choices in Telltale's The Walking Dead. Enjoy.
No!
Clem, go! Go help
No,
him!
Clem, do not!
Just go back for him! You're lying! You
Stop
can do
telling her that! Clem, look at me. Pull out your gun and shoot those damn walkers, okay? Just give me a little time.
Clem, you can make it, but you need to go!
No,
now!
Clem, it's too dangerous.
At my number 10 spot, I picked Help Luke vs. Cover Luke from Season 2, Episode 5 of The Walking Dead. This choice, when it first came up, was an emotional shock. You knew Luke was injured from the fight with the Russians, and you knew something wasn't right. Once Arvo started to run away and you saw the scene with the ice pop up, you knew that something bad was going to happen, and it had to be involved with Luke. And the big thing when this choice first popped up for me was, if I make a wrong decision here, if I pick one option or the other, does that result in Luke dying? Now, after it happened, Luke died no matter what, but when this decision first popped up, it came up to me that maybe Luke's life could be saved if I make the right decision here, or could someone else be at risk? And that ended up being Bonnie. And at the time, I didn't know Bonnie was going to betray the group, so she was kind of on my high list too to keep alive. And, you know, I originally had gone to go in the ice, break the ice, and try to help Luke. And I ended up losing Luke, but at least Bonnie stayed alive. But then I found out, you know, the stuff that happened with Bonnie, his betrayal and all that, so I was kind of mad. But losing Luke here was just, it's why it really stung to me. And this choice was difficult because I thought many different things could happen. But that's my number 10. Let's move on to number 9.
This stuff isn't ours. Dad, whose car is it?
Don't worry about that, Duck. It's ours now.
It's abandoned, Ducky. Don't worry.
What if it's not? Well, what if it's not abandoned? What if it is someone's?
At my number 9 spot, I picked a choice from Season 1, Episode 2, and that is to steal the supplies from the car or not. The big emphasis on this choice was Clementine. We're teaching Clementine life lessons here. And did I really want to teach Clementine that we have to steal food? And she even states, this food isn't ours. Supplies aren't ours. Why should we take it? And that's really when I decided I'm not taking this. I decided mainly in my first decision not to take it. And also we had to look at it from perspective, could someone be coming after us if we take these supplies? And Ben stated this perfectly. We're just some people that stole their supplies then, if there ends up being someone still alive. And it ended up being the stranger. And when I look back at this decision, it was really hard because of Clementine. Clementine made a lot of decisions difficult in this game, and this was one of them. Let me know if you guys thought this decision was tough, or did you guys think it was an obvious one? Let's move on to number 8.
I need it all.
At my number 8 spot, I picked the choice of killing Sam the dog or leaving him. Now, why this is considered a hard choice to me, because it's an animal. Dog. Usually when people see animals in video games and there's some kind of death scene or emotional scene with them, people gravitate to that. And this scene definitely, shook me up a little bit, because you thought, oh my goodness, Clementine, I have a dog companion now. And then you see within 5 minutes the dog go rabid, bite Clementine's arm, and then you see spikes going right through it, and it just becomes a hard decision. Do you want to really kill a dog in that instance, or do you just want to put it out of its misery? And that decision's pretty tough to some, and it was tough to me because I really never want to kill a dog, but I decided to put it out of its misery because I didn't want to see that dog suffer. But this decision definitely was a little tough to me because we had that instance, because I thought this dog was going to be a companion throughout a while, but it didn't work out that way. Let's move on to number 7.
I need you to trust me, Clem. That I can tell the good people and the bad people apart. That I know when to use my gun. That you'll let me decide for my own.
At my number 7 spot, I picked trust AJ versus not trusting him in the Walking Dead final season episode 4. This decision was one that I had to pause on because there was the impact of AJ turning evil, and I thought that could be a very likely possibility. And with him, his sporadic behavior in the cave, I thought that a major outcome could happen from this decision, and it ended up happening. This decision affected 3 characters' lives potentially. Could either be Lewis/Violet, and then you had Tennessee. But AJ making that call was a huge, huge decision, and something that I was very nervous about. This is something I definitely paused for about 30 seconds just to think about multiple outcomes that could happen from this. Trusting AJ or not based on his attitudes.
AJ, wait! I give up. I will give up. Put down the gun. I'll let everyone leave. My crew and I will leave. We won't bother you anymore. Oh!
AJ! She's not a threat. Lower the gun.
You weren't down there. You didn't see what she did. She tried to cut us all up.
You don't have to do this, please!
It's a trick!
Don't you fucking dare, AJ!
Just give me the gun.
Can't let her hurt anyone else.
I don't want to die!
At my number 6 spot, I picked shoot Lily versus not. Now, to some this may be an obvious decision, but after doing some research and looking up on the Walking Dead final season's choice list, this was actually a near 50-50 choice. People think, oh wow, kill Lily, but there was the dark side of AJ and the potential consequences it could have if we kill Lily, if we teach him to kill. And we saw that in the cave. This kind of was impacted, but again, this choice really didn't, when you found all the consequences. This was one of the bigger decisions in the final season in terms of consequence. You had James's potential death and some more things that could have changed. But when I look back at this choice, I had to, I didn't pause, but I had to think for a second. It was definitely one that could be an important choice, but to me, it's definitely worthy of being on this list. Let's move on to number 5.
I found something!
At my number 5 spot is Save Carly vs. Save Doug in The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1. Our first real major choice in the Walking Dead Telltale Series. These were 2 great characters, and that's what made this decision a little more difficult. You had Carly's potential kind of romance with Lee, and she was a dead shot, and she was also a nice character, really understanding and a badass in my opinion. Then you had Doug. Might have seemed like a geek to some, but really nice character, smart, witty, and very intelligent. And this choice was also a near 50-50. Despite a lot of people's opinions, both characters were great, and I thought either way you went out with, it was a good decision. It's just unfortunate both these characters couldn't live longer because they were both great. Alright, we're moving on to number 4.
Last rule.
No!
What do we do if I get bit? Are you gonna make me say it? Fine. AJ, you have to kill me.
At my number 4 spot, I picked kill Clementine versus leave her. A very similar choice, just like Lee. Now, we're not talking about how it ended. This is just at the time this decision came up, it was honestly a tough one for me. I wanted to, again, not kill Clementine. Clementine, again, one of the most emotionally driven characters I've been invested into for years. And having to potentially kill her was something I wasn't down to do. But leaving her to turn to a walker was even worse. And I paused. I cried. This choice was difficult for me to, deal with. And I had decided at the end to decide to kill Clementine, not let her become a walker. But this choice, it just broke me. And that's why I said it was difficult in the terms of having to deal with it. Alright, number 3.
This is your chance. For you and this boy. I don't trust myself to keep you two safe. Not anymore. Please, I'm begging you. Please, stay here. Stay here, where it's safe. Where you two will have a chance.
No, no, no! Why are you doing this?
Because it's the only way. For both of you. Think about Alvy here. Please, Clem, just do as I'm asking. This one last time. You'll meet people. You'll make friends. People better than me.
At my number 3 decision is leave Wellington versus go into Wellington. This decision was very emotional to me. It's one of the decisions I cried to as well. Kenny, again, my opinion, one of the most emotionally driven, badass, self-sacrificing characters in this entire series. Willing to sacrifice his spot into Wellington to get Clementine and AJ inside safely. And just, we want to be safe, we want to be away from zombies and all that, but Kenny's family, and that decision, it really hit me hard. Like, we really, do we want to be safe, or do we want to stay together as a family? Kenny is just one of those characters that I instantly had an emotion to, especially all the crap he went through in Season 2, and reaching his lowest of lows where he didn't want to live anymore and he felt very out of it and just depressed, to his ending where he was doing whatever it takes to keep everybody alive. But the man went through so much, and this decision just, it was tough. Either way, it's gonna feel emotional. So let's go to number 2.
Baby killer!
God damn it!
I'll fucking kill you!
I knew you would!
Die!
Fuck you!
At my number 2 spot, I picked shoot Kenny versus look away. This choice, again, it might have been my number 1 if Luke was involved, because I felt more of an attachment to Luke than Jane, but this choice was still difficult because you had Kenny, pretty much, you didn't know what he was going to do next. Even though a lot of people may have had an attachment towards him, his anger, sporadic decisions, wasn't making him the most trustworthy person in the world. And Jane, obviously, you didn't know at the time that she was lying about AJ and all that. So maybe there was some anger and all that that could have gone around. But you didn't want to see anybody die in this situation. And all the different outcomes and stuff that pop out of this, you probably knew as a result of this choice what was going to happen, because they were talking about, Kenny was talking about going to Wellington, Jane was talking about going to House. You knew something big was going to happen. And all the consequences of this decision, even after, looking back at it all these years, this decision is one of the most, another emotional decisions we've had in this series. All the amounts of people have crying. I remember PewDiePie playing this himself and shooting Kenny and just unleashing a lot of tears. A lot of YouTubers did that, and like I said, I didn't have my YouTube channel at the time, and I just remember all the reactions that everyone had to this choice. It was one that stood the test of time in terms of being interesting. I thought this choice was probably the most impactful in the entire series. So, let's move on to our final decision.
It's so horrible.
I can't imagine, Sweet Pea.
And now, you? Please. Please don't be one of them. Please don't become a walker.
There's only one thing you can do. You know that.
I don't know if I can.
At my number one spot, probably not a shock to a lot of you, but it's shoot Lee versus leave him to turn in Season 1, Episode 5. In my opinion, this emotional ending, this choice, everything that happened in Episode 5, I attribute that to The Walking Dead winning 70+ Game of the Year awards and being a critical success. This game, the emotions, Melissa Hutchinson, Dave Vinoy, the voice acting, just the entire sequence to get to this point, the fight with the stranger, all the build up to this was what really made it the hardest decision. Because you also had, do you really want to kill Lee? Or do you want him to turn into a walker and just leave him be? You don't want to mess with him. This choice was a near 50-50. More people did choose to put Lee out of his misery, but everything that led up to this was really the hard decision. I never really wanted to kill Lee, but again, the same thing as like Clementine. I didn't want to see Lee turn into a walker, and I decided to put him out of his misery. And you think amputating his arm, you think there's a chance maybe to save him. Maybe some people are holding on to that slim chance that may have saved him. But you find out near the end that it didn't really do anything, and it was too late. Fortunately, Clementine learned from Lee's mistakes and was able to, AJ was able to chop that off in time so she didn't turn. But this decision, all the videos on YouTube, there's so much emotion to this, probably the most emotional decision, and that's why it makes it such a hard decision. So, these have been my top 10 hardest decisions in Telltale's The Walking Dead. If you could smack a like and hit that subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me, guys. We're on the road to 200K. And please leave your list down below in the comments. I'd love to read them. And thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you all in the next Walking Dead video. Peace.